Welcome to Adventures in Alchemy, a podcast filled with witchy tips and true stories to inspire your magical life. I am Michelle Martin Dobbins, the creator of Daily Alchemy and the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. This podcast is supported by the Daily Alchemy Premium Members Lab. I don't run a Patreon, so I keep membership at a very economical $11.11 a month. For that, you not only help sponsor this podcast, but you will receive access to 14 alchemy courses, and we add a new course each quarter, access to Reiki Level 1, 2, and Master's training and distance attunements, plus a library of audio distance Reiki healings, monthly alchemical experiments, PDFs of all my books and planners, and 15% off of everything else I sell. Also, there's a members-only Facebook group, so we can chat amongst ourselves in a private community. So when you join, I do ask that you commit to 3 months, since you are able to access and download all of the content immediately. It's $33.33 for the first 3 months, and then $11.11 every month after. I am so grateful to all the premium members who support my work, and I'd love to have you as a premium member too. If you're not already one, you can go to DAPM Lab, that stands for Daily Alchemy Premium Members Lab, dapmlab.com to check it out, or there'll be a link in the show notes. Now, on with the show, and may it be a blessing to all who listen. Hey there. Today we're going to talk about, I titled it Desperately Seeking Enchantment, but I don't know if it's desperate, but I think now is a wonderful time. If you're listening to this in the current time, most of us are on quarantine or some form of stay-at-home order. And to me, that's a wonderful time to start seeking more enchantment in our lives and re-enchanting our lives and our worlds. I think in the past, there has been more enchantment because life was slower, right? The pace was slower. And I've never been one who's been a huge fan of the crazy, hectic pace that so many of us get stuck in the modern Western world. So by seeking enchantment, I do want to just explain a little bit of what I mean by enchantment, right? Because some people might think of enchantment as being under a spell. And maybe in a way I'm saying that too. But to me, enchantment is engaging in, noticing, creating more of the magic that's all around us. I think fish swim in water, we swim in magic, right? It is always around us. It's always here. I mean, our world is very miraculous. And, yes, it is a duality. There is what appears to be good and evil and what appears to be fun and not so fun, yucky and beautiful. I think we can find beauty in a lot of things if we look deeper, but the magic is all around us here. We're kind of swimming in it, like I said, like fish, and we get to choose whether or not we engage that consciously. I think we always engage it, and so many great magicians or sorcerers have talked about how there's a rhyming to the world. The things that come into our world, they come in through our thoughts, in through our intentions, in through that void of silence, the prima materia from alchemy. So to me, enchantment deals with tuning into that, right? Tuning into that creative part of ourselves, and also what is already out there that's just magic that's passing by us. Fairies and gnomes and all these other little nature spirits. I'm not 100% sure that they don't walk around as pictured in some of our children's stories, and we just don't see them because we're really not on that plane of vibration that they are or whatnot. But I definitely know that there are land spirits and nature spirits and the spirits of our home. And we can interact with these spirits. And I think it's a blessing for us and for them when we do that. we just get more connected to the earth, connected to the magic around us, and having the support of land spirits, nature spirits, our home. It's helpful. It's a beautiful thing. It's nice. I mean, our homes in the land around us, they support us, right? They give us, what is the word I'm looking for? They give us safety, stability, they give us shelter, right? Shelter and food and everything. Really, the earth and the things that we build from the earth is what sustains us. And that's in just a mundane way. But there's so much energy to that. I'm a proponent of animism, although that I'm not necessarily involved in like an animistic religion, but I definitely believe in animism, and that's that like everything, be it a rock or your house or your car, it has a soul, maybe not the exact same kind of soul as a human does, but it does have like this energetic vibration that belongs to it. And I don't know. You can call me crazy. Lots of people do. I name all my cars. I talk to all my cars, but I usually have great car karma as it is. My cars usually always work well. They very rarely break down. And I'm just like, that's one of my like sweet spots for manifesting. I think we all have like those sweet spots where like things come easy for you. So yeah, but I don't know if it's because I name them and talk to them and engage with them just like they're a part of my family, because they're transporting me and my family around. Same thing with my house. I don't always name them, but I definitely get to know the energy of my house, and I interact with it, and I have it, ask it to help support me in creating the type of energy I want inside my house. And I do that in a lot of ways. And I'll get more into that in just a moment. But one of the things that's come from that for me is I know when people come into my house, and a lot of times my friends are spiritual people, but I've just had so many people come in and say, your house is so calming or soothing. It just feels really nice in here. And, you know, it may not always feel that way because I have 4 children, and all 4 of them are here now since one is home from college since our campus shut down. And sometimes I have grandkids here too. So sometimes we have 8 people living in this house, and there's a lot of energy bouncing back and forth. But I set the tone. I do different things to keep that going. And one of those is re-enchanting, or just enchanting, however you want to look at it, my home by working with and inviting more magic into my home. There's a lot of bustling energy, but I do things to support having the energy in my house be what I want. So I want to share a few of those with you. One is just myself. I will do an exercise of feeling the vibration in my body of what I want in my home. And usually when I'm doing this, it's calm and peace, right? And maybe love, whatever I'm focusing on. And I'll feel it in my own body. And then I just expand that vibration out, and out till it's like out 4 or 5 feet around me, then until it's filling the whole room in my house that I'm sitting in, then until it's, going through and filling up the entire house, and then going out and feeling the lands around me. And, sometimes I will even go and like send it out into the city and the state and the whole world. You just expand, expand, expand. But I do think it's more powerful inside your own closed sphere of influence where you live. You have the most power and control over the place that you live in. So that is one little exercise that I like to do, especially if people are coming in and out of my house a lot, or if somebody's been to my house that's not someone who's normally here, just to get the energy back. Or, if things are going like wonky. I mean, I've got kids. Sometimes they fight. Sometimes they argue. So I like to set that intention of putting that energy that I want. And sometimes I'll also not just do that visualization, but call on angels to be here, like the angels of laughter, the angels of joy, the angels of peace and connection, the angels of family love. Okay, I did mention, right? I have 4 kids. Sometimes it gets crazy. Most of the time, my kids are really loving. And I've often been so pleased to hear people talk about, like, your kids hug each other and they're sweet to each other and they tell each other they love each other. And that brings me a lot of joy. But yes, sometimes they get a little wild with each other as well. It is what it is, right? So that's one of the things that I do. Another thing that I do is just putting up protection around my house, such as sometimes I'm just going around and anointing the doorways with Florida water and my front door with Florida water, or cleaning my floors with a floor wash made to bring peace and love into my house. Honestly, I do that I aim for 4 times a year, but probably 2 or 3 times a year. But because mostly I'm not a huge fan of like actual mop water, but it's a great one to do if you do like that. So those are some of the ways to change your energy in your house. Another thing that you can do is you can invite your home into a working agreement with you, right? You can talk to the spirit of your home. You can talk to the land that it's located on. If you have a yard or property around you, you can also engage with those nature spirits in the land there. And that is a great way to bring re-enchantment into your life, because you're going through your house and your home is supporting you. It is there. You guys, you create a relationship where you're in agreement with each other that these are the things that we want. And you do things for your home and your home does things for you. It's a symbiotic, beautiful, balancing relationship. Even if you don't like your home, it's still great to do this, right? When you create that, it opens an avenue for you to create a new and better home. Like when you love the home you're in, then you're going to love the new one as well. And if you're someone who has to travel, you can still do this in a hotel room. You can still do this in a piece of land where you're copping a squat for now. You can still do this in whatever situation you are. And I think learning how to do this, it's a skill that will serve you throughout your life and help you bring more and re-enchantment to your life. I do have a challenge going on right now. I'm posting it in my Be Magic Facebook group, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes. And I'm also posting it all on Instagram too, wherever your preferred place is on Instagram. It's all there linked in my feed. On Facebook in the group, I have it in a unit, so it's nice that you can go through and order as we're adding to it. There will be 10 days to the challenge. I'm doing it over a 2-week period. And as I'm recording this, I'm on day 4, but you can definitely go back and start with day 1. Just simple little things that you can do for 10 days to build that relationship with your home, to have a magical contract with your home and bring more enchantment into your life. And yeah, I think that's something that we need at this time. And even though I'm not thrilled with what's going on, and obviously no one wants to see anyone suffer or be sick, and I certainly don't. And I'm certainly not one who tries to blame and say, oh, it's because we did this or this person did that. But I also am one that tries to look for the beauty in the situations that I'm in. And the fact that this has given a lot of us a time to slow down. And I know some of us it hasn't. Some of us who are in healthcare or working in restaurants are working double time to serve all of us. And my heart definitely goes out to those of you with great thanks for doing that. The rest of us, we get to slow down and we get to bring more enchantment into the world. And when we do that for ourselves, it makes it easier for other people to do that. I think if you missed the last episode, episode 200 with Carolyn Elliott, she talks about that. And that's a phenomenon that we've seen over and over again, that when one of us does something, it opens the guard for somebody else to do that. So I said this was going to be a short episode, and we're 15 minutes in, and someone's knocking at the door because I don't get to be alone anymore. So I wish you lots of magic, and I will put links to my Instagram. I will put links to the Be Magic Facebook group where you can get this challenge and you can re-enchant your home. And so in the meantime, let's all be change-making descendants and future exalted ancestors and living magically in the now where we find ourselves.